Hi, my name's Alice and I'm Documentation Assistant here at Hull and East Riding Museum. And today we're here in the Roman Gallery where I'm going to talk to you about a golden coin from the Roman period known as an Aureus. Now this particular coin was minted during the reign of the Emperor Hadrian, and you can see his portrait on the obverse side of the coin. In the portrait you can see that he's got a laurel wreath around his head, and during the Roman period this was presented as a sign of victory, of military victory particularly, and also of honour, and was commonly associated with Roman emperors. So if you look a bit more closely at the portraits, you also might be able to see the faint traces of a beard. Now this is quite significant, as previous to the Emperor Hadrian, emperors were presented as clean shaven. So within this portrait and with the beard, he's sending out a clear political, social and cultural message about his own identity. So for starters, he's saying that he's a bit exotic, he's a bit different from what's come before, he's a bit different from the Roman political establishment. And this partially harks back to his own personal heritage, because Hadrian wasn't born in Rome, he was actually born in Italica, Hispania, which is modern-day Seville in Spain. And what he's saying is, during the Spanish and the early period of Spanish history, coins were typically minted with the picture of a bearded male on them. So what he's doing is he's not only saying, here I am, I'm Emperor of Rome, but he's also saying, here I have this connection to the Spanish elite as well. So I'm something a little bit different. The other thing that the beard is potentially saying about him is it's connecting him to ancient Greece as well. Because one thing we know about Hadrian is he did love Greek culture. And so when we look at this beard, you can see that there are lots of similarities to the famous statesman, orator and military leader Pericles. And we can see the similarities in the style of beard. So Hadrian is really allying himself to the image of Pericles as well. Pericles was around during the golden age of Athens. He supported art, literature and architectural projects such as building parts of the Acropolis in Athens. And through presenting himself with this kind of beard, Hadrian's saying, I support all of these things too. I support the arts, I support literature, and I'm a big fan of architecture too. So as you can see, a beard is not just a beard when it comes to Roman portraiture. Hadrian was a really popular emperor. Part of the reason he was so popular is, unlike other emperors who tended to stay in Rome, he decided to travel around the provinces, places such as Britain. And we can actually see this depicted on the reverse side of the coin. So there you can see Hadrian on horseback, proudly riding into a city with his hand raised as a sign of greeting. Welcoming the people of the city, greeting them, and also binding them together within a common identity, making them all feel part of the Roman Empire. Hadrian wasn't just a strong military leader, but he also was a big fan, as I said, of architectural projects. And we know this through some of the building works and the public building works that he supported. He completed the Pantheon in Rome, and he also built himself a fabulous villa at Tivoli in Italy as well. And of course, within this country, he's most famous for building Hadrian's Wall in the north of England. And this was because he had a policy of peace through strength. So through building this large-scale wall as a public building work, he was really trying to keep peace within the empire by keeping the barbarians north of the wall out. This also allied, and again back to that idea of, and with his beard, back to the idea of the Greek man Pericles as well. So really again reflecting that heroism he had. On top of this, one of the things Hadrian's also known for is the foundation of a religious cult. As I said, he did travel the empire and travel the provinces, and including a fateful trip to Egypt, where he took, not only did he have a wife, but he also had a male lover who was a Greek man called Antinous. They travelled the empire together, and as I say, they made this fateful trip to Egypt. And they took a boat trip on the Nile during the festival of Osiris. And unfortunately, Antinous, for whatever reason, fell into the Nile and drowned. Hadrian was absolutely distraught by the death of his lover, so much so that he made his lover into a god known as deification. He founded a city on the site where he died called Antinopolis. They built a temple and they held regular festivals in Antinous' honour. Shortly after, several other cities founded their own temples and also held religious festivals. And this was all to show a support not only for the Roman Empire, but also particularly for the Emperor Hadrian. So hopefully through this short talk I've managed to show you how a coin is not just a way of paying for goods, but if we look closely at it we can decipher some of the meanings behind it, and particularly how people wanted to appear to the rest of society at the time that they were alive. And it's also these little points that we pick up on that can begin a starting point for finding out more and more about the people who were alive during the past. So if this has sparked your interest for Roman Britain, why not come along to Hadrians Architecture Museum, to our Roman galleries, and find out a little bit more about Roman culture?